When you hear the word samurai, what comes to mind? Maybe you picture a fierce warrior in shining armor, wielding a curved katana with precision. Or perhaps it's the serene image of a noble figure sipping tea under a cherry blossom tree. The truth is, the samurai were all that and more. Their story isn't just about epic battles and legendary swords. It's about loyalty, honor, and a way of life that helped shape Japanese culture as we know it today. So buckle up as we dive into the rise of the samurai, Japan's iconic warrior class, here on History of Humans. Let's rewind to 8th century Japan. Back then, the country was ruled by an emperor who supposedly descended from the gods. Sounds fancy, right? But here's the twist. The emperor's power was more symbolic than practical. The real action was happening in the provinces, where wealthy landowners called daimyo ran the show. These guys needed muscle to protect their land from bandits and rival clans, and that's where our samurai come in. At first, samurai were just armed farmers. Think of them as medieval bouncers with a grudge. But over time, they became a more organized and professional class of warriors. By the Heian period of 794 to 1185 AD, they were much more than hired muscle. They'd developed their own code of conduct and began shaping Japan's military and political landscape. Pretty impressive for a group that started out chasing off bandits with sticks and bows, huh? You can't talk about the samurai without mentioning their famous code of ethics, Bushido. Translating roughly to the way of the warrior, Bushido was all about loyalty, courage, and honor. It was like an ancient, hardcore self-help guide. For a samurai, dying in battle wasn't just acceptable, it was a good thing, as long as it was honorable. One of the most intense parts of Bushido was the concept of seppuku, or ritual suicide. If a samurai messed up big time, like failing in their duty or dishonoring their lord, they could regain their honor by, well, let's just say it involved a sword and a lot of bravery. Brutal? Definitely. But it's a testament to how seriously they took their code. During the Heian period, the samurai weren't just protecting landowners. They were climbing the social ladder too. By the late 12th century, they were calling the shots. Enter the Genpei War from 1180 to 1185 AD, a bloody conflict between the Taira and Minamoto clans that ended with the Minamoto's victory and the establishment of the Kamakura shogunate. This was a game changer. The emperor was still around, but the shogun, a military dictator, held the real power, and the samurai were his go-to guys. The Kamakura period from 1185 to 1333 AD marked the official start of samurai dominance in Japan. They weren't just soldiers anymore. They were the ruling class, and with great power came great responsibility? Sure, but also a lot of infighting, political intrigue, and, of course, battles. It was like a Game of Thrones season that never ended. Think samurai, and you probably think swords. And you're not wrong. The katana, their iconic curved sword, is a masterpiece of craftsmanship and engineering. But the samurai weren't just about sharp weapons, they were all about sharp minds too. Many samurai were well-educated and skilled in the arts. They wrote poetry, practiced calligraphy, and even took up Zen Buddhism to achieve inner peace. Ironic for a warrior, but hey, balance is key. Zen Buddhism had a huge impact on samurai culture. It emphasized discipline, focus, and mindfulness, qualities that came in handy on the battlefield. Plus, it inspired the tea ceremony, an intricate practice that's as much about appreciating simplicity as it is about drinking tea. Imagine a samurai swapping his sword for a teacup. Cool, right? In the 13th century, the samurai faced one of their biggest challenges, the Mongol invasions. Kublai Khan, the Mongol emperor, decided he wanted Japan on his resume. He sent massive fleets in 1274 and 1281 AD, and the samurai were like, bring it on. The samurai's style of one-on-one combat didn't work so well against the Mongols' organized attacks, but they held their ground. Then nature stepped in. Massive typhoons, later called kamikaze or divine winds, wiped out the Mongol fleets, saving Japan. The samurai's victory wasn't just a military win, it reinforced the idea that Japan was divinely protected. Talk about a morale booster. The 15th and 16th centuries were wild times in Japan. The Ashikaga shogunate, from 1336 to 1573 AD, lost control, and the country descended into chaos during the Sengoku period, or Warring States period. Think feuding warlords, backstabbing alliances, and non-stop battles. It was a samurai free-for-all. During this time, some of the most legendary figures in samurai history rose to prominence. Take Oda Nobunaga, for example. He was a ruthless but brilliant warlord who modernized Japan's military by introducing firearms. Then there was Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who unified most of Japan, and Tokugawa Ieyasu, who finished the job and established the Tokugawa shogunate in 1603. These guys were like the Avengers of feudal Japan. Under the Tokugawa shogunate from 1603 to 1867 AD, Japan entered a period of relative peace, known as the Edo period. For the samurai, this was a double-edged sword, pun intended. With fewer wars to fight, many samurai became bureaucrats or scholars. They still carried their swords because fashion, but their warrior lifestyle faded. This era also saw the rise of a rigid class system, with the samurai at the top. But by the mid-19th century, things started to unravel. Western powers showed up with modern weapons and ships, and Japan realized it needed to modernize fast. The Meiji Restoration in 1868 officially ended the samurai era, as the government replaced the feudal system with a modern military. Even though the samurai as a class disappeared, their legacy lives on. Their values of honor, discipline, and loyalty continue to inspire. You see it in martial arts, modern Japanese culture, and even in movies and video games. The samurai aren't just historical figures, they're cultural icons. So the next time you see a samurai in a film or game, remember, they're not just cool characters with awesome swords. They're part of a rich history that shaped Japan and left an indelible mark on the world. From humble farmers to fierce warriors and cultural legends, the samurai's journey is a story for the ages. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more History of Humans. Thanks for watching.